Welcome. My name is Tilly, and welcome to Tarot with Tilly. And thank you for joining me today. We are going to look at the solar eclipse that is coming on September the 13th, 2015. Now, it's going to be at 20 degrees Virgo, and that's important for anybody who leans on the astrology as well, to know that placement so they can look at their natal chart and understand what planets are also being activated through this eclipse that's happening. So you really need to look at your natal chart and, any planets that we're setting at 20 degrees. I think you can give or take a couple of degrees there. So let's say 17 to 23 or something. Check with your astrologers though for that span. And it's going to activate those planets. So for every one of us, the eclipse is going to be uniquely different. It's going to hit different energies for us, and it's going to push us in our path in the right direction. So one, we need to stay positive, and we need to go with the flow. People hear the word eclipse and they get fearful, they get worried, and because I think it brings in change, and we don't like change. But whether or not we're proactive in our life and decide to embrace the change, move into the change on our own accord, rather than having it forced upon us, is usually the easier of the two lessons. And we gain the same wisdom at the end of the day. So don't take the harder approach. Go with the flow. Be positive about the energy, because we need change. We need change so that we can grow, so we can manifest. What's the definition of insane? I believe it is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Doing the same thing day in, day out, but expecting a new result. And so we get into ruts, we get into where we are, we get comfortable, or we get fearful, and we don't want to take that step forward, because at least we know where we are at. It might not be beautiful, it might not be perfect, but at least I know where I sit, and that's okay for now. And so you don't allow yourself to grow in those moments. And so trust me, God will make sure that you are rerouted onto your path. So embrace this energy. And that's not to say it's going to be hard energy. It's as hard as you make it. It's as hard as you perceive it to be. It's all in your perception going forward. Now, the new moon is all about growing and change, new change, right? New developments in our life. Maybe closing doors behind us in order for those new developments to come into our life. That's all the new moon. The new moon is also more of an introverted look, so we grow from the inside out. So we grow on the inside first so that we can manifest the outside to match our reality of what we see on the inside, our perception of who we are and who we're becoming in this world, in our families, in our communities, in our own being and independence. Now it's going to be in Virgo. So Virgo is a very beautiful energy, a very beautiful energy. It is the Virgin. So it is all things new, all things. So when you are out there and meeting new opportunities and new people and new situations and new thoughts and new clarities on where you could possibly go in life, don't dismiss them, because it's the newness of the experience, or being the reborn into a path. So Virgo also sees the flaws. So definitely we look at who we are, what we do in our routines. We might make very, very conscious declarations about our health, our well-being, our routines, what we eat, if we smoke, if we don't, if we drink, if we don't, if we exercise, if we don't, if we get enough sleep, if we take care of our bodies, if we take care of our living space, okay? So, you know, the Virgo will not ever have a cluttered cupboard, I don't think. They're very organized, they're very detailed, they look for the flaw and then they remove the flaw. They're very much the diplomat in many ways, because they dissect it, they scrutinize it. And I think we'll be looking at certain parts of our life. The energy could be different. It could be how we work, where we work, why we work there, what we're doing, what do we want to do going forward. Does it match our reality of today? Does something need to change? Does a new experience need to happen? Do you need to invest in new learning experience in order to gain the knowledge appropriate so that you can move into that? It could be stature in the community. Maybe you were on the outside of the crowd and now you want to get more involved in a group. Maybe there's an opening for a secretary or a vice president or a president. Maybe there's a role that you can play that is more in tune with the service that you want to give back to the world. Maybe it's in love. Maybe it's in relationships. Maybe your relationship needs a new beginning, a fresh start. Maybe we need to close some doors on some past modules of what we thought the relationship should entail. Maybe we need to change it up. Maybe we need to restructure, reorganize, redo the relationship. Maybe it's taking our wedding vows again. Renewing that love for the first time all over again. Maybe it's looking at how we give off energy on being in a relationship. Maybe we haven't really been investing our time within the relationship. Maybe we need to be honest with ourselves about the time that we need to invest. When it comes down to it, nobody will be able to take anything really of value from your time here on earth except for what you gave back in love, how you loved and were loved. And I mean, if you have lots of money and you treat people well and you give them the joys and the luxuries that a lot of people cannot have, I mean, in one way that is giving love. If all you can afford is oatmeal and pasta, but you give it all, then that's love. If you care for somebody who is elderly or special needs, or they just don't have it as good as you, or maybe you're the one in desperate need of help, and today's the day that you go forward and you actually procure that help. You cement that help. You say, I'm going to change. I'm going on a new path, and I'm reaching out my hand, and trust me, there'll be a hand there to grab you. I heard a beautiful poem one time, and throughout the poem, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to read it to you one day, absolutely, because it was very cool. And it was, God, you've been standing there with your hand reached out to me since you thought of me, since you created me. And today I'm going to reach my hand out and join yours and accept going forward with the strength, with the beauty, with the wisdom, with an understanding. So, a little off topic there. Who needed to hear that? Because I just went on a rant. Okay, so back to the solar eclipse. That had nothing, I think, to do with the solar eclipse. So I don't know who needed to hear that, but bless you. And you are a strong and beautiful person. I don't care what the situation is that surrounds you in your life right now. I don't care how bad it looks, how ugly it looks. Each day is a new day. Each day is a new start. And this eclipse gives us that new day and a new start with an incredible amount of energy. So we need to look at our flaws. We need to look at where we need to reorganize. I haven't even looked at it or picked up a card yet, but I am like looking at the cards. We could get actually into them at some point here. Nine of Wands. Okay, here's our anxieties, our worries, our concerns. Okay, and with that is coupled with the Eight of Swords, which is our perception. Now, because it is an 8 and because it is a 9, and these are all put in the ground, there's a lot of things in our life that we really need to look at and ground ourselves in and move past from and create a control. It's almost like there's just too much of everything right now to look at, and we are in some way unfocused. We don't know what to really look at. We don't know where to put our energy. We don't know where we're doing the really good job, where we're doing the really bad job. It's all in our perception. It's all the way we perceive it. And so I think it's eliminating. It's eliminating old perceptions. It's eliminating worries, concerns, stress, fears. That's what this new moon brings to us. This is what the solar eclipse brings to us. It's about ourselves. It's about feeling stable in our environment. It's about feeling strong. It's about getting rid of the flaws in our life that hold us back, that weigh us down, that torture us. I mean, that is a card, we're tortured. And really, we're tortured by our own inner thoughts of what could be, might be, the perception of other people looking into our lives, the perception of how loved ones will act if you actually stood up and said, I'm going in this direction. It's the fear, the worry, the concern. It's the self-doubt. It might be self-doubt and fear of a lack of faith that God's got your back, that you are surrounded by angels, that you are well protected. Sylvia Brown once said, you would be terrified if the protection that you walk around with on a daily basis was taken away for 5 minutes. That you just don't even realize how protected you actually are from all the evil, all the hurt that's in the world, and how you're protected from a lot of it, and you get what you need in order to procure wisdom and understanding. Now, we've got a couple of, pauses, recharging our batteries. Okay, we have the Hangman. But the Hangman is with the Page of Swords. And I usually warn about the Page of Swords here. Okay, but since we're in the Virgo energy, and the Virgo is really analytical, you can't be anything but analytical, you know what I'm saying. My tongue's getting tied and it's not moving forward, so we're not going to even try there. So this is a time when, you know what, we're going to be thinking things through. So a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction, I think, is called for. Once we think things through, we think things and we plan them out, and we say, hey, you know what, I'm going to go down and just try that gym out. They've been advertising, they say I can have 2 months free. I'm going to go and do it for 2 months and see what happens. Okay, it doesn't really cost you anything except for your time and your energy. And it might make a very long-term new way of life, new way of honoring your body, new way of honoring you. I'm going to apply for that college. I'm going to apply for that university. I know it's past the deadline, but who knows? I'm going to apply for that job. I'm going to go to the bank and see if they're going to give me a loan for this idea I have in a business. They might not give me the money the first time around, but you know what? They'll give me enough to think on so that I can perfect the details, reorganize my thoughts, understand the knowledge I need to grab along the way, and then I can go back and reapply for that loan again, and I'll get it. And I'll start that business, and I'll move into that passion of mine. I'm going to clean out that closet, that junk drawer. I'm going to get rid of the clutter in my life. I'm going to do one drawer. I'm just going to dump it on the table right now. And if I get really ticked off, the whole thing goes in the garbage. Because I've got to get rid of the clutter. That's a kind of knee-jerk that we want, okay? So we've already thought about things. And so now remember, with an eclipse, the energy moves for like the next 6 months, okay? So it's over the next 6 months that you are going to be reorganizing things, redoing things, restructuring things, rethinking things, seeing new flaws pop out. Don't ignore those flaws. Meditate on those flaws. Pray on those flaws. Understand how to dissipate those flaws and make them into strengths. Now, as we move through this energy, we have the Ten of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. Wow. Can you say strong cards? I can say strong cards. Okay, so we are moving into, we're really looking with this new moon in Virgo. We get a chance to examine where we flaw, where we drop the ball, where we don't push when we should. Push ourselves, maybe. Maybe it's where we don't love ourselves enough. Maybe it's where we don't believe in our own independence and strength enough in order to obtain that happily ever after. Now, I love that we had the Ace of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles here, okay? One after the other. And I guess it would be this way on the board, okay? So we start with the Ace of Pentacles, and that is a new journey into substance, foundation, security, well-being, health, finances, abundance. And if we really concentrate on using this energy correctly in our lives, we end up, when we come out the other side of all the trials and tribulations and the growing experiences that we're walking into, and embrace that and celebrate that, and don't go, oh no, I don't want a growing experience. They're not going to be as hard as in the past. We've come through some really, you know, I was down at the creek, I got a little bit of creek mud on my knuckle, I just noticed. It's a clay, I tell you, it sticks to everything. If it gets on your clothes, you can't even get it out. Throw the clothes away. Allow yourself to have those new ideas, those new visions. And I think once we get started looking at our path right now, seeing where we're going to have changes in our life, whether it's the relationship, whether it is stature in the community, whether it is your own spirituality that you were trying to, maybe it's your health, relationships, job, career. I mean, you know where your focus really needs to be right now. You have gone through enough lessons to know where the disruption or the disconnect is in your life, and how you need to have a better approach, or a new approach, or a better understanding, or a new understanding. And the more you step into this energy, the more you get these new ideas. Okay, your crown in this picture is a growing vine. So it's growing new ideas, new life, new experiences, fresh thoughts. Everything starts from a thought. Everything. And look at the abundance. The abundance is so big there that you cannot put it in your lap. You have to rest it in between your legs and straddle it so that it remains upright for the picture, for everybody to see. Just how beautifully you can grow into abundance, into well-being, into a strength, into a beauty, into a love. It's what you do with that energy in between the two that matter. It's being honest with yourself and realistic with yourself. So when I see the Hangman here, which is about taking the step back, meditating, understand where you want to go and why you want to go. We also have the recharging of the batteries, the giving thanks, the understanding that we have been through the hardest part of the battle, and now it is building the path forward. Okay, I've always said that this is the, isn't it, what just came into my head. I hope I get it all out here. This is the warrior, this is the soldier that comes off the battlefield, that comes back home from war. They hang up their weapons, they take off their armor, and they lay down to recharge their batteries, to recoup, to give thanks that they've made it to this point, to realize that the battle, the hardest battle, is now in their past, and they're home. They're home with their loved ones. They're home to grow new experiences, new paths, step into a life of abundance and happiness and joy. Because the whole reason the soldier went and fought was to secure a home, stability, well-being, abundance, and joy. It's a very strong eclipse, because this is our victory card, saying that we can be very strong in where we put our focus, where we put our energy, where we put our strength. Where are we putting our vision for tomorrow? And then we have the yes card. So, I mean, there's a lot of positive energy. I think we get very afraid when we hear the word eclipse, because we know that change is coming. But if you go with the flow, these cards definitely say, if you go with the flow, if you accept the changes, roll with the punches, and apply yourself, and really be honest with yourself about where the flaws are in your life. And if it's mainly love, then look at those flaws and how can you reorganize, re-strategize, recharge, restart, begin. It could be at your job. It could be what you do or how you do it. It could be within the community, your stature. It could be how you give service to others. It could be bringing out a passion, living a dream, living a joy. It's allowing ourselves to see the flaws within ourselves and to be honest. In fact, I'm kind of surprised the moon isn't here as one of the cards. Because I think the first part is looking at ourselves and looking at where we don't treat ourselves with love. We don't allow for the amount of sleep that we need, the amount of rest that we need. We're always the last ones, aren't we? We take care of everybody else in our life. We make sure that all of our obligations are met, all of our responsibilities are met. We worry about how people are perceiving us. And at the end of the day, we don't allow any energy to walk out in nature. To just sit and hold somebody's hand, whether it be a child, a lover, a friend, an elderly person that sits alone, maybe. I mean, I know there's a lot of elderly that could just use somebody to sit next to them and hold their hand once in a while. How can you be of service to the world? How can you be of service to your neighborhood? That's important questions. But you really need to ask yourself, how can you be of service to yourself? How can you honor yourself? How can you eradicate the flaw of your schedule in not making time for yourself? Maybe it's prayer time. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's just that quiet, alone time that you need. And everybody deserves that. And we all work hard enough in our days, regardless of what we do, to honor ourselves with that alone time. And maybe that's the only thing you do moving forward through this whole eclipse that we will be going through. Maybe it's saying, you know what, going forward, 7 to 7:15 is for me, nobody else. The phones go off, the doors get locked, and that's my time. And you can extend that, but you can't lessen it. So now what did I miss out on? Because I have been really talking. Virgo energy is really paying attention to detail, organization, looking at the flaws, like I said. Making sure that we are fixing, we are finding solutions, we are bettering ourselves. We are analyzing ourselves, and maybe even a little bit of a critical analyzation is in order for us to have the honesty to understand where we really need to move forward, where we need to lean into our strength, where we need to become strong, powerful, beautiful individuals on a mission towards what we want to manifest in life, on how we give service to life, and how incredible each of us are in our own path and on our own unique journey. So until we meet again, remember, I do love you.